Hello, thanks for joining us today. We're happy to introduce you the 2.0. Let me introduce myself. I am Laure. I am Akeneo support manager, and I will be the moderator for this webinar. I have with me the three Akeneo product owners, Camille, Delphine, and Nolwenn. Hi, girls.
Hello.
Each of them worked on a very specific topic, and they will be presenting it to you during this webinar. Note that all the changes are available for all Akeneo distributions, PaaS, SaaS, on-premise, and for both versions, community and enterprise. If something is only related to the enterprise edition version, you will have a mention on the screen with the EE symbol. So the 2.0 is available since the 28th of September. Note that the 1.7 is supported 24 months instead of 18 months. So it will be supported until March 2019. The 1.5 is not supported anymore. It can still be used, but the support team will not release any more patches. Here is our agenda for this webinar session. First of all, Nolwenn will talk about the technical improvements. Then, Camille will introduce you our new user interface. And last but not least, Delphine will talk about our new catalog modeling. This presentation will last about 30 minutes, and it will be followed, as usual, by a Q&A session. We'll only answer questions that are related to the content of this webinar. If you want to ask us questions, please use the chat box. All the questions will be answered at the end of this webinar. Finally, this webinar will be recorded and it will be available on YouTube channel very shortly. Okay, we're all set. I'll let Nolwenn present you the technical improvements now.
Hi everyone, I'm Nolwenn, product owner at Akeneo, and I'm very pleased to present you what's new in the technical layers of Akeneo 2.0. As you will see in this new version, we focus our efforts on improving our technical stack for better performances and connectivity. Let's begin with the performance improvements. The technical stack has been simplified and boosted up with the latest best technologies. As you can see, we upgraded the versions of Symfony and PHP. We now use the 3.3 version of Symfony and the 7.1 version of PHP. We also took care of the storage, which is now much easier to handle. You will no longer have to wonder which storage should I choose, since there is just one single storage now, which is MySQL. We also have natively included Elasticsearch in our solution for both our community and enterprise editions. With this strong couple, we end up with a much more powerful storage stack that will be able to handle every catalog size and structure. With these technical changes, you will also benefit from a better search on your products. Finally, the end users will also see the benefits of this new stack with the introduction of Webpack. It allows more fluidity when navigating inside the application. If you want to find out more about these different topics, feel free to browse the different posts we published on Akeneo Labs Medium account during these past few months. Regarding the performances, we already feel pretty good about this new version. To be able to give you precise numbers on these performance improvements, we will engage audits of our application before the end of the year. So stay tuned. Let's now move on to the connectivity improvements. You know how important it is to have your PIM communicate with the other tools and software you daily work with. At Akeneo, we want to make the building and maintenance of these connections as easy as possible. That's why In our 1.7 version, we introduced a web API to help you build your connectors around Akeneo. During these past months, the API was quickly adopted by our community, and that's really great. First, for those who are not really comfortable with what an API is, let me do a quick presentation. So, as said earlier, a PIM without any connection to other software is really useless. We have to connect the PIM so it can communicate with the external world. That's what the API is for. You use the API to build connectors that will transfer your data from your ERP to your PIM or from the PIM to Magento, for example. You can even make two PIM communicate together, thanks to the API. Awesome, isn't it? It opened a whole new world of possibilities, as you can see. So do not hesitate to promote and use the API when it comes to connecting your PIM. As a matter of fact, from now on, the API is the only way we recommend to develop connectors. You may wonder why, but the reason is really simple and can be summed up in one word: stability. We guarantee the stability of our API. As a result, it will be far easier to migrate your PIM from a version to another when using the API for your connectors. As introduced a few seconds ago, let's take a look at what's new in the API with the 2.0. In 1.7, we already developed a few endpoints in our API. Remember, you were able to make requests on products and even on the catalog structure. With the 2.0 release, you will now be able to call more endpoints, including the attribute groups, the association types, the measure families, the currencies, and two totally new entities Delphine will introduce later, the product model and the family variant. All these endpoints are available for both the community and the enterprise editions. In the meantime, we also begin to create endpoints for some of the enterprise edition features, such as the published products and the product draft that are based on the permission with the user groups. And this is not finished. We will continue to deliver new endpoints in the next version of the PIM. We are indeed thinking about the assets entity, for example. Also, when we build the endpoint to create draft with the API, we entirely refunded the enterprise edition permissions that are based on the user groups. Now, these permissions that use the categories, attribute groups, and locales are applied to both import-exports and the API. Let's take an example to make it clearer. Imagine your end user is an intern working at Zaro, and he only has the rights to edit products in every category, meaning he does not own any products. As a consequence, he can only propose draft version of products that he sends to his colleague for approval. Before the 2.0, he was also able to erase product data when using the import feature. It won't be possible anymore. If he tries to import product data, it will automatically create draft version of this product. This way, we protect the PIM data. His colleagues can then validate his proposition of updates. Still talking about the API, in this new version, we also added a new screen for our dear administrators. Previously, in 1.7, to be able to authenticate the calls made via the API, a client ID and a secret had to be created with a command line directly on the PIM server. This wasn't really convenient. So we decided to add an interface to this very simple feature. The PIM administrator can now create what we call API connections. As a result, it will automatically generate the credentials needed for the API. He can also put a label on it so as to remember which connector is using which credentials. This will be really useful, especially if you want to revoke a single given connection, which is also possible via the new interface, as you can see in the screenshots. And that's it for the news concerning the connectivity and the performance improvement of the 2.0.
Thank you, Nolwenn. If you have already questions, please write them down in the chat box. Camille will now present you our brand new user interface.
Let's go with the presentation of the new UX of Akeneo PIM. Maybe you wonder why we decided to edit the UX in the 2.0. So let me tell you, we really care about our users. We want to provide them with a great user experience on a daily basis when they use Akeneo PIM. Clearer, it is one of the main characteristics of this 2.0 user experience. White background, wider margins and spacing, increase comprehension of the screens. The new navigation will also provide a better visibility. We didn't remove any functionalities. You can still use all of them, but differently. With this new UX, we want to focus on usage. Our goal is not only to provide a shiny user interface, but also, and most of all, to increase Julia's productivity and to help her working more easily. This new UX isn't just a topic we address in the 2.0. 2.0 is just the beginning of this new UX. We will, of course, keep improving it in the upcoming versions. Let's have a look at this brand new user interface. I log in my favorite working tool and discover my new interface. Sorry, I'll log out and I'll log in. So I log in my favorite working tool and discover my new interface with a left vertical menu, which will give me more visibility and help me to navigate more easily within sections. As you can see, we changed the wording for the sake of clarity. Collect became imports, enrich became products, and spread became exports. Here is the brand new product grid, where you can see many changes. We centralized local and channel so that Julia can see at a glance her working context. I can still minify the panel if I want to have a better look at the product grid or expand it. It's up to me. We now have a brand new tree to display the categories. I select the category audio and video, and I can close the tree by clicking on the Done button or just outside. I will add filters to work on an incomplete family. As you can see, we implemented a new design to manage filters that uses a facets look and feel, like on e-commerce websites. I will work on the MP3 family and products which are not complete. I now have 10 products in the grid. I can still display the columns I want to work with thanks to the columns configuration button. In my case, I'd like to remove groups and variant groups, which are not relevant for my product selection. I will create a view based on these products to work more easily. As soon as I select a product, a toolbar is displayed at the bottom of the screen to perform bulk actions. I will select 2 products to launch a sequential edit. You can now see the new product form with a product's identity displayed in the header. The picture just here comes from a new property, attribute as main feature, which can be set at the family level. We also added the identifier just here. So I encourage you to set the attribute as label as name instead of the SKU anymore to avoid the display of the identifier twice. On the left panel, you can now see products information like the completeness, for example, which is also displayed just here in this widget. As you can see, in order to help you define the best structure for your catalog, we remove the other attribute from the product form. As you can notice, we can now display all attributes of all the different attribute groups just here. So I don't need to switch from an attribute group to another to enrich my products. If you remember well, in the 1.7 version, sorry, this product is almost complete. Up. Sorry. If you remember well, in the 1.7 version, we highlighted the missing required attribute with a yellow dot. In the 2.0, we improved this feature by enabling to filter on missing required attributes. So Julia can go straight to the point and focus on the work she has to do to enrich her product. I have an amazing description. And I said, back to the grid. I can select products and launch a mass action. Indeed, we are going to perform a sales offer on MP3 players at the end of the month. So I will set a new release date. So I select Edit Common Attributes, click on Next, and select my attributes. Choose a date. To prevent our end users from making mistakes, the confirm button is not located at the same place as the next button. Regarding the settings screens, we also display new icons on the attribute creation screens. For example, let's create an attribute type asset collection. In the attribute group media, and if we have a look at the family, on MP3, here is the new property I presented you earlier in the product form, the attribute used as main picture, which can be an attribute file as picture, used as picture to present in the product header. I'm finished with the presentation of this 2.0 new user experience.
Thank you very much, Camille. Thanks. Again, if you have any questions about the new UI, you can use the chat box. It's now Delphine's turn. She will introduce you our brand new catalog modeling.
Thank you, Laure. Hello, I'm Delphine. I'm product owner at Akeneo. For this 2.0, we also worked on the catalog modeling for complex products with variants to better manage them into Akeneo. First, to make sure that we are on the same page, let me explain what products with variants are. Products with variants are products that have similarities. They are based on the same model, but differ in some aspects from one another. Let's start with a well-known example of products with variants that are t-shirts. A t-shirt model is available in 3 colors: gray, blue, red, and different sizes. For all the colors and sizes of these t-shirts, some attributes are common, such as the name, cotton t-shirt with a round neck, the brand, divided, the care instructions, machine wash at 40 degrees. Each t-shirt color has different pictures and could have a different composition. Each color of the t-shirt could be available in different sizes, S, M, or L. For each color size, the identifier of the product is different, IAN, SKU, and the technical dimensions like weight, sleeve length could be different. There are more and more products with variants in all businesses. Here are some other examples. Chairs available in different colors, mattresses with different dimensions for 1 person or 2 people, smartphones varying in color and screen size, wood screws available in different material and dimensions, teas by packaging, or fruit compotes with different flavors. Why do products with variants have to be managed differently than other products? Because it's complex, painful, and time-consuming to manage lots of products that are similar. We decided to work again on this topic, even if we have 2 existing modelings, the variant group and the inner variation bundle. We heard your feedback. The variant groups are unusable. They are not in the product grid. There is no family, no category, no bulk edit on variant groups. For the inner variation bundle, you find the settings complex and you don't understand why it is not available in standard and in the community edition. So, we would like to facilitate the creation and enrichment of products with variants for all and better integrate them into Akeneo. So what is the new modeling? With this new catalog modeling, no more variant group and inner variation bundle in the 2.0. Let's go back to the t-shirt example available in different colors and sizes. First, what is a product? In this example, a product is a t-shirt with all the properties of a t-shirt: a name, a brand, a color, a size. So the products are a gray S t-shirt, a gray M t-shirt, a blue S t-shirt, etc. To gather these t-shirts and ease the enrichment of their similarities, same name, brand, and care instructions, we designed a new concept, the product model. We manage 2 levels of product models to enrich both properties at the top level and at the color level, pictures, composition. So with this new catalog modeling, you can manage up to 3 levels of enrichment for your products with variants in Akeneo: t-shirt model, t-shirt color, and t-shirt color size, for example. Defining a structuration for products with variant is essential. It was so painful for the variant group to have no family. The settings of the inner variation bundle were too complex, and splitting into 2 families was a bit strange for users. So we decided to keep the families as they are, but we added a new settings in families for products with variants. From a single place, in a family variant, you will define all the structure for your products with variants. You will define the number of variance levels, 1 or 2 in our example, the variant axis for each level, color for the first one, size for the second one, the distribution of attributes between the common attributes for all the products of a model, name, brand, care instructions, the variant attributes by color, pictures, composition, and the variant attributes by size, IAN, weight. Let's continue with a demonstration. Products with variants are now better integrated into Akeneo. They are displayed in the grid. They can be managed and enriched in the same way as other products. I choose a dedicated view for products with variants with, some choose Okay. By default, the product model is displayed in the grid with a pile of pictures, which means that some variant products are behind this model. For a product model, you can follow the completeness of its variant products, the number of variant products behind this model, and the number of complete variant products for this model are displayed. For the stilettos model, 2 products are complete out of the 5 products behind this model. If the background is red, all products are incomplete for this model. If it's yellow, at least 1 product is complete. If it's green, all products are complete. When you click on a product model, you can enrich the products with variants in the same product form. The number of complete variant products for this shoe model is also displayed in the header. A navigation component was added to the product form to navigate among your products with variant structure. You can enrich easily the common properties or the specific properties for a variant. In common, you can enrich the common attributes for this shoe model, like the name, black stilettos, the collection, the brand, or the description. And you can also classify this model in a category, for example, shoes for women. The shoe is available in different sizes. Its family variant is shoes by size. If you click here on size in the navigation component, the different sizes of the shoe model are displayed with the completeness of each size. When you click on a size, for example, 38, all the attributes of the shoe for the size chosen are displayed. You can enrich only the attributes which vary by size, for example, EAN, SKU, or weight, in my example. You can fill the missing required attributes, such as an EAN, for example, and you can save. Okay, sorry. The completeness takes into account all the attributes, common attributes and attributes by size. For example, here the description is missing in German. Let's go back to our example of the t-shirt model in the grid to show you how we manage up to 3 levels of enrichment for your products with variants. The t-shirt model is available in different colors and sizes. You can also enrich the common attributes, the attributes by color, and the attributes by size. In the navigation component, if you click on color, the different colors of the t-shirt model are displayed: blue, gray, red. If you click on the color gray, the attributes which vary by color could be enriched. For example, the composition and the picture could be different by color. If you click on size, the different sizes of the gray t-shirt are displayed with their completeness. If you click on the size S, the specific attributes by size for the color gray could be enriched. Moreover, to easily manage these 3 levels of enrichment, we have added a smart search in the grid for products with variants to automatically display what you are looking for. By default, the model of the t-shirt is displayed in the grid. But as done on e-commerce website, if you are looking for clothing with the color red, for example, the red t-shirt will now be automatically displayed in the grid. If you are looking for clothing with the color red and the size S, now the red S t-shirt will be displayed in the grid with its completeness. To define the structure for products with variants, you will create family variants in the Families settings in a new tab, Variants. For t-shirt example, in the family clothing, you will define a family variant, for clothing with variants by color and size. You will define a code, a label, the number of variant levels, 2 in our case. The first variant axis will be the color. The second one will be the size. And then you will define how your attributes are distributed between the different levels. So here, for example, you have all the common attributes for the products with variants, with the variants clothing by color and size. For example, name, collection, description. The attributes which vary by color, the variant name, the composition, the material, and the attributes with by color and size, for example, EAN, SKU, or a weight. Sorry. What are the benefits of this new modeling? First, save time. You will fill the common information in the product form only once, and the product completeness will be updated on the variant products. It's no more complex than other products. Products with variants are displayed in the grid and can be enriched in the product form. Moreover, it will be released in standard in the Community Edition and in the Enterprise Edition, so it will be available for all.
Thank you, Delphine. Thanks, girls, for all your presentations. We'll move shortly to the Q&A session. But before that, I'd like to remind you that you can subscribe to our newsletter on akeneo.com at the bottom of the page. You can follow us on Twitter. We have 2 Twitter accounts. We have Akeneo PIM for information about our new features, our roadmap, and Akeneo Labs for all technical information, new patch release, new connectors, and so on. If you want to know more about our current developments, I suggest that you read our Medium posts and our blog posts. They always have valuable information. If you want to meet Akeneo developers or people from Akeneo, you can join the Akeneo Slack user group. The link is right here on this presentation. If you need any training from our professional services team, you can contact them through this page, so akeneo.com/training. They can train you for the API or the new UI, or give a functional training about the new products with variants. Don't forget our documentation and our repositories. Most of them are up to date or will be very soon with the 2.0 information. I think that's it. I wanted to say a few words about the migration. We already have some feedback from partners and clients that are using Transporteo, which is our migration tool. If you have any issues or questions about it, you can post them on the Transporteo GitHub repository. It's in the Akeneo repository. You have a dedicated page, Transporteo. Wanted to thank you all for this webinar. Thank you, girls, for this presentation. Thank you for staying with us and for your attention and your feedback on the Akeneo 2.0. This video will be available on YouTube channel very shortly, maybe tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow you'll be notified. So thanks again, and we'll see you or get in touch later. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.